Greetings, friends. It's me, once again, Wayman29. I guess I'm getting like the late Brit Kane, making a bazillion videos a day. However, I decided to come back on and discuss a topic on duality, which is quite interesting. And Dove Tulip 7 is going to have a blast with this one. So, I'm having another pint to take the seriousness out of the conversation so that hopefully people will think about it in a less formal way and maybe get something out of this. So I'm going to read a text from the Upanishads, one of the oldest ones with a name longer than I am able to pronounce right now. And it was written in the 9th century BC, and from the Indo-Iranian tribes, may have influenced or the Middle East enough to where some of the ideas of the Vedas and cultures seeped in across into Hebrew literature, which is most interesting. And I'm going to try to draw a connection on duality from the Upanishads into the biblical text of Genesis and Adam. So, first, there was a gentleman that these Upanishads were written about, and his conversation with one of his two wives. Both names are longer than I am able to pronounce right now. I'll post it in the comments section or the topics section over there, and you can all have a look. And I'll post some links to this text and some information about it. And also for the Indo-Iranian tribes, you can see some stuff on Madewell's site, Yashua Quest. So, alright, here we go with the reading. So this is the gentleman's reply to his wife. And they used to sit, and they used to go through these long drawn-out conversations to where it was so boiled down as a way of conversation with two philosophers, to where they would go until the conversation was exhausted. And so there are a few pages to this exchange, but this is the last page, and this is on duality and the self, or the human spirit, Atman, in the Upanishads. And the wife gives up. She says, "I cannot perceive this at all." And the husband replies, "Look, I haven't said anything confusing. This self you see is imperishable. It has an indestructible nature. For when there is a duality of some kind, then the one can see the other, the one can smell the other, the one can taste the other, the one can greet the other, the one can hear the other, the one can think of the other, the one can touch of the other, and the one can perceive of the other. When, however, the whole has become one's very self, then who is there for any one to see, and by what means? Who is there for one to smell, and by what means? Who is there for one to taste, and by what means? Who is there for one to greet, and by what means? And who is there for one to hear, and by what means? And who is there for one to think of, and by what means? Who is there for one to touch, and by what means? Who is there for one to perceive, and by what means? By what means can one perceive him, by means of whom one perceives this whole world? About this self, one can only say, not, for he is ungraspable, for he cannot be grasped. He is undecaying, for he is not subject to decay. He has nothing sticking to him, for he does not stick to anything. He is not bound, yet neither trembles in fear, nor suffers injury. And when Christ said, I and the Father are one, this self became one, which is most interesting to think about. Now if we think about Adam and the duality, where Adam was by himself and he got bored, so he needed a duality. And when supposedly Adam disobeyed Elohim, Yahweh, I forget which text it was in. I think it's in the second creation account. He realized he was naked, which is quite interesting, because now you have a duality, a man and a deity. And I find that quite interesting about the duality, seeing the other, and considering this text, it explains the concept of how the I and the Father are one in a much better way. So, just throwing that out there and seeing what happens. So, take care, YouTubers. Take care of yourselves and each other.